America, we gotta get back to doing what's expected of us as free citizens in this democracy. That means being tolerant, being respectful, staying informed, and being engaged. I'm former Congressman Joe Walz. Follow me here and join the millions of Americans who are renewing their social contract with each other. The social contract, it's on us.
Hey, the United States will be reduced to ashes if I don't win. We won't have a country anymore if I don't win. Donald Trump tweeted that out about 30 minutes ago. The Republican nominee for president 30 minutes ago said, and I quote, "The USA will be reduced to ashes if I don't win. Not going to have a country anymore if I don't win. Ashes." This great experiment in democracy, this the world's greatest, oldest democracy, this the greatest, most powerful, most entrepreneurial, most wonderful, most generous, most giving, most accomplished country in the fucking world will be reduced to ashes, Donald Trump believes, if he doesn't win. What bullshit. What demagoguery. You know, I told you yesterday that Donald Trump's only path to victory is to scare the hell out of you. He has to scare people into voting him. He can't convince you. He can't persuade you. He can't encourage you. He can't embrace you. He has to scare the fuck out of you to win in November. And a bunch of you jumped on me when I said Trump is appealing to your primal fears, right? No matter what you think of Kamala Harris and the Democrats, they're appealing to our better angels. And you may think the joy and the hope and the promise of America, right? Kamala Harris is running on joy, and you may think that's all bullshit. But you know what? Trump's trying to scare the hell out of you, and you cannot say that that is all bullshit. The USA is going to be reduced to ashes? Think about that. To ashes. This country in which you're sitting in right now, listening to me, watching me, hopefully having a great day, hopefully having a productive day, hoping having a family day, hoping you're making some money today in this land of opportunity. Donald Trump believes if he doesn't win in 77 days, the entire country will be reduced to ashes. Don't tell me he's not appealing to your primal fears. Don't tell me he's not trying to scare the hell out of you. This was 30 minutes ago. 30 minutes ago. We won't have a country anymore if I don't win. What an arrogant bastard. Right? Reminiscent of his acceptance speech in 2016 when he said, "I alone will fix everything," the dictator said. But I don't want to go down that road. He's trying to scare people into voting for him. He's appealing to your fears. Man, don't reward that. Don't reward that. First of all, this country is better than he thinks it is. First of all, I don't want to vote for a guy who thinks, "Oh my God, if we vote for the wrong person in one presidential election, this country, my country, is going to be reduced to ashes." I don't want to vote for somebody who thinks that poorly of America. Hey, welcome, Richard. "Shut the F up," you said to Joe Walsh. Richard, I'm so glad you're listening. Thank you, man. I don't want you to shut the F up. I want you, Richard, to stay engaged. If you can, stay respectful, but keep listening. And I'm glad you're listening. I'm not going to vote for somebody who thinks that poorly of America, who thinks that this country, that our founding fathers sacrificed all to begin, the country of George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, James Madison, Thomas Jefferson, and the rest of them, imperfect men, but gifted men who started this country, this wonderful experiment in democracy, in self-government. I'm not going to vote for anyone who believes that this country is so fragile and so bad and so weak that one bad election, it's going to be reduced to ashes. Fuck him. Fuck Trump. America is better than Donald Trump thinks it is. Fuck you, Trump. We're not going to be reduced to ashes no matter who wins in November. Why? Because we are bigger, better, and stronger than any one person. Our institutions are bigger, better, and stronger than any one person. But more personally, all the Trump supporters who are listening to me right now, you're better than Donald Trump thinks you are. He's messing with you. First of all, right? Trump lies. He lies as he breathes. He lies to you, Trump supporters. You don't lie to people that you respect. You don't lie to people that you hold in pretty high esteem. Trump doesn't think very well of you. Trump thinks he can fool you. He can lie to you. He can scare you. Donald Trump thinks he can scare you into voting for him. Oh my God, he said 30 minutes ago. MAGA, MAGA, MAGA. Vote for me or the country will be reduced to ashes. To tweet that out, Trump believes that you're going to believe it. And by the way, do you believe that? Kenneth, Nabe, and all the rest of you, I'll ask that question right now. Keith, let's post it. If Trump loses, will America be reduced to ashes? Like the next day, the next month? This country that I know you all love, even all the Trump supporters listening to me, my brothers and my sisters, I know you Trump supporters love this country. I know you believe in this country, this great republic. You believe in our Constitution. If Trump loses, will America be reduced to ashes? Answer that for me. Do you believe that? In a day, in a month, in a year? Ashes. I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but I'm going to beat a dead horse. Mean burn to the ground? Kenneth, you don't believe anything I say. Do you believe? No, I believe we have to vote to save democracy because, yeah, Trump is a threat. I mean, I just think about that. And I'm seeing some answers over. You have Joe. You have severe TDS. No, I don't. I don't have severe TDS. I have severe democracy derangement syndrome. I just love our democracy. But that's the question. And I want you to think about it all day. Can Trump really fool you that easily? I don't think he can. I think you're better than he thinks you are. Color me crazy, but I think you are better than Trump thinks you are. I don't think Donald Trump can scare you into voting for him. I think when Trump says, as he said 30 minutes ago, that America will be reduced to ashes if I don't win, I believe most Trump supporters believe that is utter bullshit. I do. I really, really do. But think about this, guys. Trump doesn't. I mean, I know that's got to cause you, my friends, my brothers and sisters, my Trump supporters, to spend some time looking inside yourself. Donald Trump doesn't think better of you. Donald Trump thinks he can fool you, spewing this bullshit. Ain't gonna have a country if I don't win. Trump thinks you're gullible enough to believe that. Trump thinks you're fearful enough to believe that. Trump doesn't think you're smart enough not to believe that. I'll die on this horse. Shame on Donald Trump. Shame on Donald Trump for thinking that about you, Trump supporter, because I don't. I think you're better than he thinks you are. And I think you know that if Trump loses, this great experiment in democracy will not be reduced to ashes. Hey, I've been at the how much I'll get to that. How much are they paying you to say this stuff? Let me be and by the way, I get this from hundreds of people every day. Can I Keith, I'm going to take a second and just clear this up if you don't mind, my friend. I got to clear this up because there are probably 794 people every day who send me a message that says, "Joe, you're a sellout. You used to be a good Tea Party guy, but the Democrats are paying you money to do what you're doing now." Let me go at this respectfully, because I hear this every day. First of all, I still am a proud gun-toting Tea Party conservative. I'm still who I am politically. I want to remind everybody that when I got elected to Congress 12 years ago, I was the poorest member of Congress. Just going to tell you a little bit of story, just a little story here, just for some context. I was the poorest member of Congress when I got elected. Made me smile, made my wife cry. And then after Congress, I became a right-wing radio talk show host and a right-wing media personality. And for the first time in my life, man, I was making real money. First time in my life, I was making a lot of money doing all my right-wing stuff on the radio and TV, doing some of what Trump's doing, trying to inflame you and scare you, but I was good at it. And I was making real money. And then 6 years ago, I publicly turned against Donald Trump. And I lost all of that. I took a blowtorch to my career and I threw all that money away. And here I am 5 or 6 years later, not making any money. Trust me when I say I'm still a right-winger. There's no money for a right-winger in the Democratic Party. I'm not a Democrat. There's no money for a right-winger in progressive media. There really isn't. So I didn't do it for the money. Trump supporters call me stupid. Fine, for opposing Trump. All day long, call me stupid for opposing Trump. Call me a traitor. I get that every day. Call me a traitor for publicly coming out against Donald Trump 6 years ago. But don't call me a sellout, because I didn't do it for the money. Man, if you're a right-winger like I am, the big money is to be a Trumper, to be a Hannity, to be whoever on right-wing radio, to be a Laura Ingraham, to be all of these people. That's the world I come from. You want to make money in conservative media, you got to be a Trumper. That's where the money is. Don't call me a sellout. Again, call me a traitor. I mean it, but not a sellout. I didn't do it for the money. I'm not making any money. The Democratic Party doesn't pay me anything. I go on MSNBC and CNN all the time. They don't pay me to go on. Stop with that. I've been at the Democratic National Convention. This is the damnedest thing. I love this. I love America, man. I just love this country. Joe, disappear from our lives. Maggie or somebody just sent me a message. As she's watching me right now, she just sent me a message to disappear from her life as she's watching me. Love America. Been at the Democratic National Convention all week, was there all day yesterday. Tim Walz, last night, vice presidential pick, gave his speech. And look, here's the deal. Tim Walz, no matter what you think of him on policy, he is left of center. He is a progressive. He's a regular dude. He's a regular guy. He comes from middle America, born into a small town in Nebraska. He hunts, he fishes. He's a Midwestern white guy. Doesn't have a lot of money. I think I read last week. Doesn't invest in any stocks. He basically has no portfolio. He's a regular guy. He was introduced last night by his old football team. He was a football coach, a public school teacher. He's a veteran. His members of his old football team introduced him last night in their old jerseys. His family, he's got a regular family of and when you watched his family last night, just two regular kids, they were like beaming with pride and crying, seeing their dad up there in the big time giving a speech. Tim Walz gave a good speech. He's not where I am politically. He is a left-wing populist. I am a right-wing populist. But here's the key. He's a populist. And for years now, I've been saying that the Democratic Party is out of touch with regular people. It's part of how Trump got elected. The Democratic Party has been out of touch with regular middle class, lower middle class, white, black, and brown folk. The Democratic Party has become the party of wealthy suburbanites, wealthy people who drink wine in their fancy apartment buildings in cities around America. And the data backs this up, that wealthier people with college educations have been voting Democrat, as people without a college education more and more have been voting Republican. I've talked about how America is going through a populist moment right now. And all that means fancy talk. All it means is regular folk are pissed off, angry about stuff, legitimately so. Republicans recognize the populist moment, and they've been demagoguing the moment to try to make people angrier. But Democrats haven't recognized the moment. They've been aloof and elitist, and this has been hurting them electorally. And so Kamala Harris picked a regular guy, a left-wing populist who talks their talk, again, who hunts and fishes and drinks beer. And you can put Tim Walz, as he talked last night, into Michigan, Pennsylvania, or Wisconsin, and he's going to do well relating to regular people. I'm glad that the Democratic Party is beginning to recognize that regular people need to be listened to. Not listened to like Trump, because Trump feeds them bullshit. Trump feeds them lies. Trump tries to divide and make these regular folk even angrier. But Democrats need to learn to start sitting at their table and listening to them. Tim Walz, as I listened to him last night, is beginning that, which is great. That's another replying. That's a great one. His own wife and two little girls. He's got a little girl and a little boy, and they were just adorable. There we go again. Kenny, shut up, commie. Shut up, commie. When you say that, Kenny, again, I'm going to keep banging on this drum as well, everybody. I'm glad you're listening. I'm glad you're listening even when you can't stand me. when you think I'm a retard or a traitor, or in Kenny's case, a commie. What I want you to do, though, is to explain why you think I'm a commie, a communist, because I'm all about trying to have a dialogue. Like Kenny, I'm going to bet if you and I sat down, I'd drink some tequila, maybe you'd have a beer. Kenny, you and I'd find out we agree on most things because I'm still a conservative. So I'd want to have a conversation as to why you think this conservative, because he's supporting Kamala Harris, is a communist. Help me do that. What was that line from? Jerry Maguire. Help me help you, Kenny. Help me help you. Tell me why I'm a commie. And see, that then begins a dialogue. That begins a dialogue. Final thought as your thank you, Linda. Joe makes me sick. Linda, you don't. You give me hope. That may sound funny because Linda just took a shot at me. Joe, you make me sick. Linda, here's my response. You give me hope. And again, I'd like it, Linda, if you explained why I make you sick. But you give me hope, Linda, because you're watching and you're listening. I mean that. I'm not being snarky. You give me hope because you're listening. There's a part of you, and I know you love the country, Linda. There's a part of you that wants to make sure your ideas are right. There's a part of you that wants to test your ideas, or you wouldn't be listening to a guy like me who's supporting Kamala Harris, who's one of this Republicans for Harris group out there. So you give me hope, Linda. You really, really do. A final point. As I've been at the Democratic National Convention all week, listening to the speakers, talking to people, I've thought about what Nikki Haley said this past January. You may not remember this, but it's important. Listening to these speakers all week at the Democratic Convention, and look, this election is going to be close. I still believe if the election were held tomorrow, Trump would win. If this election is going to be really close, but the Democrats have a lot of enthusiasm. The enthusiasm, as Al Capone said. Dems have, De Niro said that as Capone. Enthusiasm. Dems have a lot of enthusiasm. They're fired up. They're smiling. They're high-fiving. They're hugging. They're embracing. Man, I walked around that United Center all day and night yesterday. I probably got 700 hugs. There's a lot of excitement and a lot of enthusiasm with the Democrats right now. And it made me think, and every speaker reflects this. Republicans and Fox News make fun of it, joy, like joy is a bad thing. But every speaker reflects this. And it got me thinking of what Nikki Haley said in January. Nikki Haley said in January, back when she was still running against Donald Trump, she said the first party that gets rid of their 80-year-old nominee is going to win. Nikki Haley said that. The first party that gets rid of their 80-year-old nominee, Biden's 81, Trump's 78, is going to win the election, Haley said. And the Democrats did. Joe Biden decided not to run. And what was amazing about what Nikki Haley said, why I think it was so prescient, is the enthusiasm it would garner. Look, the truth is, let's end this day with the truth, this show with the truth. Heart back to you, hit kiss. Thumbs up back to you, everybody listening on TikTok, watching on TikTok. The truth is this. Most of America did not want the Trump-Biden matchup. Most of America didn't want this rematch. Trump go away, Biden go away. That's really what most of America felt. So when one of those candidates went away, Joe Biden, there was enormous enthusiasm. because America wanted somebody else. America wanted somebody younger. America wanted something new, not Trump Biden again. And even you Trump supporters, I know you believe the same thing. Come on, a broken system is going to give us Trump and Biden again. This is a real advantage for the Democrats because they got rid of their 80-year-old nominee. And it has led to an enormous outpouring of enthusiasm. An enormous outpouring of enthusiasm. It's Kamala Harris. It could be anybody, I believe, anybody who wasn't Biden, any one of their young governors to get Democrats fired up. And I know you're going to grab your musket if Harris loses. That's still my favorite tweet. In 2016, when I was supporting Donald Trump and I voted for Trump, about a week or 10 days before the 2016 election, I sent out an infamous tweet. The tweet heard around the world. I said, if Donald Trump doesn't win, I'm grabbing my musket and I'm heading to Washington to fight for freedom. I loved that tweet. Got me in a lot of trouble because people thought I was going to lead an armed insurrection. No, that's what happened on January 6th. No, come on, a musket? I was having fun, a musket. What I meant was if Trump doesn't win, I'm going to fight for freedom for the rest of my life. And by the way, then on election morning in 2016, I tweeted out another musket tweet. I said, no matter who wins today, I'm going to grab my musket and fight for freedom. I love that tweet. Trump supporters, if Ron DeSantis were the nominee, I know you know this. If Ron DeSantis were the nominee, if Ted Cruz were the nominee, if Nikki Haley were the nominee, pick a few other people, there would be much more enthusiasm on the Republican side. Nikki Haley was right. The Democrats got rid of their 80-year-old nominee, and the Democrats are fired up. Is that going to be enough for them to win? Who knows? This thing's neck and neck. And I do believe Trump would win if the election were held tomorrow. I do believe Kamala Harris, who will speak tonight, and I'm going to be there listening, Kamala Harris is the underdog right now. A woman cannot lead us. Please don't make me laugh. Hey, Keith, I'm going to stop with this. Thank you, Keith. I'm going to stop with this comment. Linda just sent me a message. Joe, a woman can't lead us. Don't be serious. Linda sent that to me. Linda, I ain't a woman. I completely disagree. And again, I don't think you believe that. Linda, one of my favorite political figures in history. I came of age with Ronald Reagan. I went to college with Ronald Reagan. That era, Margaret Thatcher, Maggie Thatcher, the Iron Lady who led the UK, is still one of my most favorite political figures in history. She was strong. She was tough. She fought for freedom and free markets, and she was a woman. Again, Linda, I know you're better than that. Man, woman, white, black, brown, gay, straight, transgender, this country would welcome a leader, no matter who that leader's creed, no matter what that leader's gender or sex or whatever. And I know I'll close with this. This is my theme today, Keith. Linda, Trump supporter, a woman couldn't lead us. Donald Trump doesn't think well of you. I think well of you. I don't think you believe that. If you're a Trump supporter, I know you'd support a strong, conservative, MAGA female. I know you would. Come on now. You're better than that. We're better than that. Hey, everybody, again, every day I'm here. Beginning next week, we're going to have some guests in some of our episodes, The Social Contract with Joe Walz. A reminder, It's called The Social Contract with Joe Walsh, because for this democracy to survive, we all have to renew our social contract with each other. What is our social contract with each other? It's kind of our job description, what's expected of us as citizens in this democracy. We've got to be tolerant of the differences. We have to be respectful toward people who disagree with us. We have to stay informed. And baby, we got to stay engaged. We got to get in the game and participate. This is what's expected of us as citizens in this free country. And we're not doing it anymore. And our democracy won't stand if we continue down this road. So renew your social contract. Join this movement. Follow me everywhere on every single platform. Have a glorious, awesome, blessed day. And we'll talk tomorrow. Be brave. Be brave, everybody. Thanks, Keith.
Remember to listen, share, and follow The Social Contract with Joe Walsh on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere great podcasts are found. And be sure to leave a 5-star review. This has been The Social Contract with Joe Walsh.